you seeing that picture now? Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to get
Yeah, when did we say you punch it out?
When the reader gets here.
Yeah, it's not up yet. Well, you know, if Paul Pickett had been over here, this would have been better organized on this end too. Well, this is the first time. You know, if it had been Paul would have told you.
Okay, I'm going.
Paul would have told you if it had been him. He didn't know about it earlier. Yeah, he would have told you.
Did you get all the questions, Bob?
Yeah, it's just me and you. Jim's coming on.
I don't know exactly what to ask him. I mean, maybe the issue of, he may be able to talk about the evolution of the IED.
No crowding.
You know,
No what?
the-
No crowding.
I did a
No
brief
pushing.
Google on him.
Enough
and he had
seats for
talked about that in the
everybody.
past.
You mean
So-
IDs in his area as far as his people getting left?
Right.
Okay, yeah.
No crowding, no
Morning.
pushing.
Yeah. You're way ahead of me. I haven't done any research.
My 26 seconds.
You don't like my color? How's that?
Yeah,
No.
Yves Fontaine.
Yeah.
Yeah. French farm
You
beef
show
is
your flesh
contributing.
I got a 3-0.
I didn't see the New York Times today. I just didn't have anything.
No.
Does it look all right to you?
Post is belatedly
Okay.
doing the story on,
Okay,
what's that unit? Danger, able danger.
Able danger, oh.
Yeah.
But see, people make noise.
See if we can get a picture. General, this is Brian Whitman at the Pentagon. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. How are you today?
And welcome to the Pentagon briefing room today. And thank you for your time to be with us this morning. For our correspondents here and for those of you who are listening throughout the building, good morning. Our briefer today is Brigadier General Yves Fontaine. That's YVES, middle initial J, who is the commander of the 1st Corps Support Command of the U.S. Army's 18th Airborne Corps, which is currently deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. General Fontaine's command provides the logistical support for the Multinational Forces Corps in Iraq. And so in doing that, he operates throughout the entire theater. he has more than 20,000 U.S. soldiers under his command, as well as works with contractors and partners with Iraqi units that are out there to provide logistics and support. And he is certainly the right man for the job. He has an impressive list of previous assignments and accomplishments prior to taking on this challenge. We have his biography for you. And I'm reminded, I'm sure it was a logistician's old adage, but is probably current today too, in that when it comes to, I think it goes something like this: amateurs talk about tactics and professionals talk about logistics. And I think the essence of that is that it is a very difficult job when you talk about maintaining, equipping, arming, feeding, the number of forces that his command is responsible for doing so every day, and doing it in the superb fashion that they are. So I've taken up already too much of the time here in this introduction, so let me, in keeping with our tradition here, turn it over to the General to give you a brief operational update, overlay of what his command is responsible for and what they're doing, and then open it up for some questions from here. Again, we can see you, General, but we know that you can't see us in Balad, where you come from today. So we'll when we get to the questions, we'll identify who's talking to you.
Okay, sir. Well, thanks for the great introduction, really. Good morning to all. I'm Brigadier General Yves Fontaine, and the commander of the 1st Corps Support Command Airborne. I am going to provide you an overview of the 1st Corps Support Command and how we continue to conduct operation in Iraq in support of multinational corps. I will give you an explanation of our mission, who we are, and what we do. I will also tell you how we have partnered with our Iraqi counterparts to execute logistics operation for the Iraqi Army. I will conclude with an assessment of how we have done. In concert with the multinational corps Iraq commander, our mission is twofold. 1, to provide logistics to the multinational corps Iraq. 2, to partner with Iraqi logistics forces to facilitate the development of the Iraqi Army logistics system. We'll do whatever it takes to sustain the fight, maintain the corps' momentum, and ensure that the combat forces never go without the necessary supplies and equipment they need to win. We have done just that, and they've been given the means to continue as long as it takes. The 1st Corps Support Command is composed of 5 support groups, 1 area support group, 1 brigade size distribution command, and 2 brigade combat team, for a total of 9 brigade size units. They comprise close to 18,500 soldiers and airmen based on 5 geographic logistics hubs. The support group conducts sustainment operation to keep the multinational corps fed, equipped, armed, maintained, and fueled. 3 of them are currently partnered with 3 respective Iraqi motorized transportation regiments, and I will discuss this more in a minute. The area support group runs logistics support area and Anaconda. The distribution command synchronizes support for the entire corps and maintains visibility of all logistics operation and assets throughout Iraq. The brigade combat team provide base security and escort and security support for over 150 convoys per day, which is equivalent of over 2,500 vehicles on the roads every day. We are a diverse organization that has come together to perform extremely well under austere conditions. We are 40% active duty soldier, 35% Army Reserve soldiers, and 25% Army National Guard soldiers. Since December last year, we, in conjunction with the Air Force, have moved over 100,000 pallets by air, equivalent to 5 Army divisions worth of equipment, and 300,000 personnel throughout Iraq and Kuwait. We leverage the use of Air Force and Army assets to decrease the number of trucks and soldiers on the road. On average, we have eliminated 42 convoys per month through this initiative. We also use the latest technology available to maintain visibility of our assets across the area of operation. In coordination with Army Materiel Command and the American Industrial Base, we continue to improve our vehicles by incorporating existing and emerging force protection system, from armor upgrades to climate control. We have armored over 2,000 vehicles, from the Humvee to the tractor-trailer and cargo truck. Since we have arrived, we have not sent a non-armored vehicle outside a secure base. We continue to develop tactics, techniques, and procedures that have mitigated the effect of improvised explosive device, or IEDs, or in-car bombs. On an average day, we receive and issue 1.4 million gallons of fuel, and we produce 3 million gallons of water. We also process over 500 requests for repair parts each day. Since December of last year, we have moved 12 million cases of bottled water and 2 million cases of meal ready to eat to forward operating base throughout Iraq. Our soldiers have repaired over 30,000 pieces of equipment and have maintained our fleet. We've leveraged the Logistics Civil Augmentation Program, or LOGCAP, as part of our logistics support team. The civilian LOGCAP contractors in Iraq enhance the military force. They provide services that augment military units in Iraq to increase our surge capabilities and to free military forces to serve in other capacities, such as military training and assistance missions. Lastly, LOGCAP would serve as a continuity while force rotate through deployment cycles. As you can see, the quantity and quality of effort involved in our operation is enormous, and we succeed because we have dedicated soldiers and civilian contractors who take pride in providing superior support. Our reconstruction effort has been extremely productive and include the construction of over 24 water filtration systems that provide clean water to over 20,000 Iraqi people. The distribution of humanitarian aid packages comprised of items such as clothing, school supplies, hygiene items, and toys to over 18,000 Iraqi people. The funding for the construction of 3 new health clinics, 60 new renovated schools, and 65 kilometers of road constructions projects through our area of responsibility. We've also planned, coordinated, and executed a sponsorship program through which 2 Iraqi children have been flown to the United States for necessary emergency medical care. One of the keys to successful logistics operation for any army is the ability to get the supplies from where they are stored to where they are needed in an efficient and reliable manner. With this in mind, it is a crucial task to ensure that the Iraqi army becomes proficient in warehousing and transportation operation. We have 3 support groups that have partnered with 3 Iraqi motorized transportation regiments, the Iraqi National Supply Distribution Center, and 3 regional area-based support units. The purpose is to partner with their units to refine the Iraqi logistics operation as they become capable of sustaining the Iraqi army. Our soldiers' conditions are constantly improving, and they have everything they require to execute the mission. Their morale is high, their health and welfare is strong, housing, recreation, food, mail, and communication are available, and soldiers are able to call, email, or write their families regularly, which is a tremendous advantage in today's deployment. The assessment of our operation includes 2 major points. First, we have and continue to maintain the core momentum throughout all operations. Second, we successfully partner with Iraqi logistics forces. 2 out of the 3 motorized transport regiments are ready to operate independently, and the regional base support units are starting to provide support to the Iraqi forces in their area. In closing, I want to acknowledge not only the personal sacrifice of each soldier who has served and is serving here today, but I want to recognize the families of these soldiers that are back home waiting for their loved ones to return. You and the American public at large are our backbone in difficult times, and without your support, our soldiers will not be able to do the great things they do every day. I will now take your questions, sir.
Thank you, General, for that overview, and we'll get right into some questions here. Will?
General, this is Will Dunham with Reuters. Could you please assess the current danger to supply convoys that the insurgents are posing? Is it increasing, decreasing? Is it changing in any way? And also, could you talk about the evolution of the IEDs? Are you seeing more powerful ones?
Yes, sir. Great question. As a matter of fact, we've seen an increase in the use of IEDs on our convoys. And our main threat is the IED for the logistics convoys coming from Kuwait, Jordan, and Turkey, and then going to the Baghdad area. So the increase has been to about 230 a week. Now we have established, obviously, as I mentioned in my opening statement, we have up-armored all our vehicles to some level 1, 2, and 3. All the Humvees are level 1 and 2, which is the best up-armoring that we can provide these young soldiers. The HETs, the heavy equipment transporters, are also at level 1, 2, and 3, mainly at 1 and 2. And we are focusing right now on up-armoring our 915 fleet, which is our tractor-trailer to level 1 and 2. Bottom line, all our trucks are up-armored when they go out the gate to different level, which protect our soldiers. We're also reviewing TTPs on a regular basis as incidents occurs. And those reviewed TTPs let us know what the enemy is bringing to the fight that is new and how we can react to it accordingly. And finally, we also leverage technology as much as we can and as much become available to negate that threat. To respond to your question about evolution IED, as you will know through the news, the enemy has used new IEDs on the road. I believe our measures to protect our soldiers will rise to the challenge.
Briefly follow up. You mentioned that you're at 30 IED attacks on a weekly basis. Could you give me a comparison to what that level was previously?
Yes, sir. It's about 100% increase from last year.
Go ahead, Bob.
General, this is Bob Burns with Associated Press. I wanted to ask you to elaborate on the point you made earlier about partnering with the Iraqi logistics forces. If I heard you correctly, I think you said that 2 of the 3 Iraqi transport regiments are ready to operate independently. Could you talk a little bit more about that? How many more do they need? Is 3 all they need? What's the future hold there?
Yes, sir. I believe the end state for the motorized transport regiment is a total of 9 or 10. We've received the first 3, really the first 4. A 4th one is being added in the next couple of months. So those 3 have shown a real action to get with the program. They took about 6 months to get trained to proficient in transportation operation to the point where they are using their own command and control, their own radios, their own security today to escort themselves as they supply Iraqi forces in the theater of war. So to answer your question, right now 2 to 3 are, I call them green, to support the Iraqi forces in their sector. 3 to 4 more are being formed within the next 3-4 months. It'll take 6 more months to 7 months to train them. So I would anticipate that within 1 year we should have the complement of transport regiment we need to sustain the battle.
Thank you.
Joe, go ahead.
General, this is Joe Tabit with Al Hura TV. This week, Secretary Rumsfeld accused Iran of smuggling weapons into Iraq. Do you have any information about Iranian Revolution Guard or the Hezbollah in supporting the insurgency and providing this kind of IEDs?
To be honest with you, no, I don't. I've just heard the same thing myself through the same news program you've heard it. So I'm really not at liberty to discuss that. I don't know if, in fact, the Iranians are supporting insurgency.
Go ahead, Jim.
General, this is Jim Mannion from Agence France-Presse. I wonder if you could talk about the role of contractors in your operation? How many contractors are there, and have they been affected by the attacks, and how has that affected your operations, if at all?
Yes, sir. Right now we have about 20,000 contractors working in the supply field. A total about 35 to 40,000 contractors in the entire theater. The contractors are really a combat multiplier. They take over functions that we do in a secure basis, such as maintenance function, water purification, fuel delivery, and so on. Some of them are also driving our trucks. But overall, they are mainly in a secure basis, providing the logistic support we need to provide our forces. It allows us, as I mentioned in my opening statement, to flex our CSS forces, Army forces, into operations like in the West and the North lately. As far as contracting go on the roads, they do go on the roads. They sustain the same type of threat our soldiers sustain, and they're doing magnificently. Our convoy are fairly well secure with up armor Humvee and weapon system. So to answer your question whether it impacts their driving, I'm sure it does, psychologically, but they always come back next morning and drive. They're great patriots.
General, with the doubling of the IED attacks on the convoys in the past year, have you seen a proportional increase in the number of casualties on the U.S. personnel involved in those convoys?
No, sir. As a matter of fact, that's a good story, the good news story, as far as our up-armoring is concerned. Because we've up-armored our vehicles, the casualty has decreased significantly, even though the IED attack has increased significantly. So now our soldiers are safe in their Humvees and their trucks, and they walk out of the incidents when the incident occurs.
It's Bob Burns again from AP. I'd follow up on that same point. During this period of increase, have you seen the increase in any particular parts of Iraq, especially geographically?
Well, yes, sir. The triangle is the area where this occurs. We know the south of Iraq is fairly safe, fairly secure. As you enter the triangle, this is the area where IEDs occur the most. So nothing has changed as far as that's concerned.
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead. General, this is Joe Tabit with Al-Hurra TV. There is a British report said that triple-staked anti-tank mines were reported to have been used in the Al-Haditha explosion. Is this a new kind of IED?
It's the first one we've encountered, I think. I'm not sure whether it's the first one that's been used, because IEDs remain on roads for a long time. So if you're asking me, is the first time they use it, I don't know, because sometimes we find IEDs later in the day or a month later. So, but it's the first one that we've found of that sort.
Go ahead, Jim.
General, Jim Mannion from AFP again. Can you say whether as a result of the attacks, any of your forces have experienced any shortages or disruptions in supply?
No, sir. We've prepositioned supplies at key GS hub to prevent this to occur. So whenever we have ongoing operations, we can flex our supplies from different GS hub to that location. And whenever the enemy is doing something different, we have reserve in sight on specific site that can assist the forces in that sector.
General Bob Burns again. You mentioned earlier on the use of aircraft to move supplies and minimize the danger on the roads. Is that entirely from Kuwait, or what's the amount that you moved by air from Kuwait or Turkey or Jordan?
We fly aircraft, the Air Force flies aircraft from all over the world to support our requirements. The majority of requirements coming for aircraft are Class 9 repair parts to fix our vehicles. Sometimes with ammunition coming for our aircraft as well. But we have aircraft coming from the States, from Kuwait, from everywhere in the world to support the requirements. So it's a very well synchronized event that's synchronized on the Kuwait with we call it CD dock, the CENTCOM C4. And success story because it takes a lot of great soldiers off the road by moving this aircraft in the air.
Okay, well, General, we I think have exhausted the questions from here. We just want to thank you once again for taking some time and giving us a little bit different picture on something that we haven't had much visibility on, and that is sustaining and maintaining the force out there and the type of things that your command does out there. So thank you very much, and maybe down the road we can have you back again to give us another update.
Okay, sir. Well, I'll be glad to. Thank you. Thanks for listening to us.